In Nathaniel Brandon's words, the first step toward change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. Well, awareness creates acceptance and tolerance in our society, and many organizations and individuals have been at the forefront in sensitizing the community on disability issues. You are watching Able Differently, and my name is Jane Theuri. Let's get started.
We're differently abled, differently.
The National Epilepsy Coordination Committee held a press briefing on the steps they are taking toward impacting the lives of people with epilepsy. Take a look.
I have lived with epilepsy for 30 years. And yeah, it shook me a bit.
As the world marked the International Epilepsy Day on the 14th of February with the theme Friendship and Inclusion, Sam is grateful for the help he has received so far.
Personally, I'm a very lucky person. Given the statistics, about 80-20%, I fall in the 20% who have know what it is that they have and are taking medication regularly, and it's become like second nature.
The National Epilepsy Coordination Committee has been at the forefront in advocating for the welfare of people with epilepsy through various campaigns.
So International Epilepsy Day is being celebrated all over the world. In fact, there are around 140 countries that have actually committed to be celebrating the event. And it happens on the second Monday of February. We are focusing mostly on the 50 million steps for every person with epilepsy. And the 50 million steps can be looked at from a retail meaning, whereby you have people making very small steps, others making very huge steps towards the care for people with epilepsy, and then combining all those together to get the 50 million steps. It simply means each and every one of us can be able to contribute to that in our own very small way.
Angaza Kifafa campaign has been used over time to do advocacy.
One of the flagship projects, which is funded by the Bank of Africa, that shall be speaking today, is the Angaza Kifafa campaign.
Every year we look at visiting about 4 counties, and the number of counties that have been mentioned there are part of what we have been able to do. So over time we have had to change the traditional way of how we have been doing our campaign. In the previous years, what we were doing was we had about 3 programs.
People with epilepsy face stigma, and that has been their greatest challenge.
We recognize a number of challenges people living with epilepsy experience, and one of these challenges is about disease awareness and the stigma. Epilepsy affects almost every aspect in life of a patient, and for many people living with epilepsy, the stigma attached to the disease is even more difficult to deal with than the disease itself. So you can tell that the impact is tremendous.
The campaigns are used to educate and inform on the myths and misconceptions.
So the arm of the training was very important, considering that epilepsy is compounded with a lot of myths and misconceptions, ranging from epilepsy is witchcraft, epilepsy is demon possession, and for this we realized for us to narrow the treatment gap, awareness creation through trainings was very important. And the holistic approach we adopted was we refresh our medics in the various health facilities, and then we target the people in the community who are living with these patients who still believe in witchcraft and demon possession, so that they are the ones who can help us connect the patient to the doctor by providing the right facts on epilepsy.
Also, training of community health volunteers has come in handy.
We train community health volunteers in each and assigned county that we work in, and we make follow-ups with these community health volunteers, providing them with the necessary information so that they can in turn give to the community members and their caregivers information on epilepsy. And we make further follow-ups to ensure they actually link them to the health facilities.
Dr. Kariuki says risk factors range from birth complications issues to the environment we live in.
Any person can be able to get epilepsy so long as you are exposed to a risk factor or to an event that can be able to damage the brain. And in Kenya, the most important risk factors include the head injuries. As you know, there is now increased use of the motorcycles and road traffic accidents, and many people, when they have those accidents, they will sustain head injuries. Subsequently, some of those can be able to develop the condition. Then we also have some areas on the Kenyan coast, on the western Kenya, which are very known to be endemic for infections like falciparum malaria. So when you have cerebral malaria, again, directly damages the brain, and you can be able to have some of those people developing the epilepsy. And another important cause is birth-related complications. So you can see quite very easily preventable if you can be able to improve maternal and child health. Have as many mothers as possible visiting the antenatal clinics and delivering in the hospitals. Then with all those factors considered together, we can be able to prevent about 30% of the epilepsies in the country.
With NECC reaching over 1,000 patients, they cannot ignore the support they receive from partner organizations.
In the last 8 years, 18 counties later, we feel that we are making a difference as an institution. Dr. Kariuki mentioned that there is the socio-economic effects of people living with epilepsy, and creating this kind of awareness just brings us closer to bridging the gap between people living with epilepsy not being able to achieve their full potential in life and actually seeking the medical attention that is required so that they can live a fulfilling life.
Let's take a short break and we'll be right back with more. Don't go too far.
We're differently abled, differently.